Nature brings to life phenomena that hardly seem real. Some remain isolated in nearly unexplored territories. Many appear as if they belong to magical, fantastical worlds. They create landscapes reminiscent of alien planets. Others are striking and even threatening. Animals also play a role in these events. Join us as we explore Earth's most fascinating natural phenomena. Events so unusual, they'd be unbelievable without being recorded. Ice volcano, Kazakhstan. This is a unique structure formed by the specific geological conditions in Almaty. It resembles a small volcano, with a crater at the top. Water from an underground spring freezes upon contact with the air. This phenomenon occurs in winter, when temperatures drop, freezing the water instantly and creating an ice volcano. The vapor produced in the process looks like smoke, giving the impression of an eruption. As water emerges, the ice volcano continues to grow. Volcanic lightning, Guatemala. The aptly named Volcán de Fuego experiences constant eruptions, releasing gases, ash, lava, and glowing rocks. Unlike other volcanoes that often remain dormant for centuries, this one erupts frequently. The name Volcano of Fire captures its essence. The eruptions are so regular that locals witness flashes of fire at night. In the darkness, volcanic storms can be observed. These consist of lightning forming within the eruptive column. Ash particles rub against each other, causing lightning to appear within the volcanic cloud. The dark ash cloud makes the lightning especially vivid. Pyroclastic flows, Indonesia. Despite their destructive impact throughout history, this phenomenon has rarely been filmed due to its extreme danger. At Mount Sinabung, a striking scene unfolded, with volcanic gases, ash, and rocks flowing like a destructive river. After 400 years of dormancy, it erupted in 2010 and has since experienced numerous episodes of activity. Pyroclastic flows are generated when an eruption releases a column of material that cascades down the volcano's slopes. They move at extraordinary speeds, making it nearly impossible to escape once they head toward a populated area. Etna's Rings, Italy. Located on the island of Sicily, it's the tallest volcano in Europe. In addition to its impressive ash explosions, Etna has the rare ability to produce smoke rings, an extremely uncommon occurrence. These happen when volcanic gases escape through a narrow opening in the volcano's crater. When the gases exit at high speed, rings form due to turbulence and pressure differences. The gas composition, containing water vapor and tiny ash particles, helps make the rings visible to the naked eye. Manpupu Nior Rocks, Russia. This is a group of 7 giant monoliths located in the remote Ural Mountains. They began forming around 200 million years ago, when the mountains in the region were much taller than they are today. These rocks are made of quartzite and slate, materials that resist erosion from rain and air. Over thousands of years, the softer rocks wore away, leaving behind those that endured. Yanartas, Turkey. With flames that have burned uninterrupted for millennia, Mount Chimera is a fascinating natural sight. The flames emerge directly from cracks in the rocks, scattered along the mountainside. They are fueled by methane and hydrocarbon gases that seep through fractures in the rock. Greek mythology tells that the Chimera, a monstrous creature with traits of a lion, goat, and serpent that breathes fire, once lived here. Death Valley Rocks, United States. Nestled in the Mojave and Colorado deserts, it's a place with extreme conditions and strange occurrences. It's astonishing to witness rocks that move on their own across the desert plain. At first glance, it seems supernatural, though there's a logical explanation. During cold nights, when the valley floods, ice forms around the rocks. This allows the wind to move them, leaving behind a clear trail. Starling murmurations. This phenomenon occurs when large flocks of starlings perform synchronized flight patterns. These movements create a dance where thousands of birds appear to move as one single entity. From the ground, it looks like an aerial choreography taking various shapes, such as waves, spirals, or clouds that expand and contract. By flying in large groups, starlings confuse predators like hawks, who struggle to focus on an individual bird. Murmurations help them stay together, communicate, and find spots to rest or feed. Molnar János Cave, Hungary. Few are aware of the grandeur of this natural wonder. It seems like a hidden parallel world beneath the earth. It belongs to an extensive network of thermal water caves beneath Budapest. These were formed due to the region's intense geothermal activity. The main rock, limestone, dissolves quickly, creating these vast caverns. The intricate passages create an underwater labyrinth. Some sections are spacious, while others demand skills to explore. Giant waves. These are enormous waves that appear suddenly in the ocean. Under certain conditions, several waves merge, forming one much larger. Due to its geography and intense winter storms, the North Sea is especially prone to massive waves. Here, the waves and ocean currents move in opposite directions, leading to the formation of what are known as monster waves. Additionally, the North Sea is surrounded by land in various directions, giving the waves less room to disperse. On the Portuguese coast, a small town has gained global fame for its astounding surf. The Nazaré Canyon acts as a natural channel, amplifying the waves that reach the shore. They are generated by strong winds in the North Atlantic. When they reach the canyon, the waves gain speed and height. Here, the seafloor rises abruptly, causing the wave's energy to surge upward, eventually breaking. Sleeping sperm whales. These cetaceans have the largest brain of any animal. It's believed this gives them excellent memory, enabling them to recognize members of their group. They communicate using sounds called clicks, with dialects that vary between different communities. One particularly curious phenomenon in these animals is the way they sleep. They rest vertically, floating near the surface in periods of 10 to 15 minutes. They stay close together, maintaining collective vigilance to protect against potential threats. During sleep, their bodies are fully relaxed. In this case, two young sperm whales try to wake an adult, perhaps due to a perceived threat, or to resume activities. Lava Lake of Mount Nyiragongo, Congo. This is one of the most active and dangerous volcanoes in the world. Its immense crater holds a continuously active lava lake. It forms from magma, accumulating as it rises from deep within the earth, through the volcano's central conduit. The constant inflow of material from the Earth's mantle and the high temperature keep the magma in a liquid state. Ice tsunami. Rarely seen, this natural phenomenon occurs when massive ice blocks pile up along the shore. It typically happens in spring, when surface ice begins to weaken. Water currents help push the ice towards the shoreline. As the ice sheets move, they start to stack up. If they continue advancing inland, the ice pushes onto the land, encroaching on areas near the coast. Supercell. Capable of unleashing uncontrollable fury, this is a type of storm with immense power. It's rare, but when it forms, it can generate extreme weather events. It has updrafts and downdrafts, whose interaction keeps it stable. While other storms last between 30 minutes to an hour, a supercell can persist for several hours, allowing it to cause greater devastation. Super tornado. For a super tornado to form, a rotating column of air must develop within a supercell. They often occur in Tornado Alley, in the central United States. A portion of the storm's rotating air narrows and accelerates, creating a funnel. If this funnel reaches the ground, it becomes a tornado. The clouds are dense, and there's a high sense of pressure. At its most destructive phase, some tornadoes are massive. These are super tornadoes. They reach intense rotating winds, capable of demolishing nearly anything in their path. Twin tornadoes are a rare occurrence, where two tornadoes rotate in unison within a single storm. The combined action and force of the storm that creates them makes them especially destructive. Fairy Circles, Namibia. In the arid grasslands of the Namib Desert, a mysterious phenomenon appears. These are circles with no vegetation inside, surrounded by a ring of lush grass. Some slowly disappear over time, while others expand as years pass. One theory suggests that termites of the species Samothermus allocaris create the circles by eating roots, leaving grass at the edges. Socotra, Yemen. In the heart of the Indian Ocean, this island, isolated for millions of years, feels like an alien world. It lies east of the Horn of Africa and south of the Arabian Peninsula. Its flora and fauna evolved uniquely, creating an exceptional natural landscape. Nearly 40% of Socotra's 825 plant species, along with many of its animals, are found nowhere else. The dragon's blood tree, or Dracaena kinnebari, is its iconic species. It has an inverted umbrella shape, shading its own roots and helping retain soil moisture. Socotra's baobabs also have an unusual appearance, with thick trunks that store large amounts of water. Termite mounds, Australia. The industrious termites, Ammotermes meridionalis and Nasutermes triodii, build these massive structures. They use their jaws to cut materials and then bind them with their saliva. This combination creates a sturdy, long-lasting construction. The mound building is continuous, with termites working tirelessly to repair and expand it. It can take up to 5 years to complete one, and they can last for decades, even millennia in extreme cases. The mounds are capable of maintaining a constant internal temperature, shielding the termites from predators and harsh conditions. Richat structure, Mauritania. Known as the Eye of the Sahara, this prominent geological formation lies in the Sahara Desert. It's recognized by its concentric rings, visible even from space, Thanks to its size, astronauts use it as a reference point. Initially thought to be an impact crater, studies revealed its origin lies in terrain erosion. A dome of rock was uplifted by volcanic activity, while erosion of softer rocks over millions of years created the rings. The surrounding area has been inhabited by humans for thousands of years, with prehistoric artifacts found nearby. Sumgan Kutuk Cave, Russia. This cave stands out for its tangled network of tunnels that stretch long distances. The rectangular entrance is believed to have formed from a ceiling collapse. Erosion shaped its edges, creating the appearance of a gateway into the earth. With an astonishing 10,000 meters, or 32,000 feet of labyrinths and galleries, it remains partially unexplored. Surtsey, Iceland. Among the Westmannaeyjar Islands, at Iceland's southernmost point, lies this geological wonder. It was born from an underwater eruption that began in 1963 and continued until 1967. It marked one of the 20th century's major geological events, allowing scientists to study the birth of a new island. Surtsey serves as a natural laboratory free from human interference, providing insights into geological and biological processes. Rock goblins, United States. This reserve, known as Goblin Valley, is remarkable for its otherworldly landscapes. Over thousands of years, incredible stone formations have been sculpted to resemble goblins. They were shaped from layers of clay and silt deposited in ancient seas, eventually taking on these unique forms. The rock at the base is soft, while the upper layer is harder, forming a hat-like mushroom profile. Mount Yasur, Vanuatu. Located on Tanna Island in the South Pacific, this volcano is highly active and easily accessible. It has been erupting continuously for at least 8 centuries. It is one of the few active volcanoes on the planet where you can approach the crater's edge. Lava, ash, and gas explosions occur non-stop. This creates an almost daily display of natural fireworks. Chicxulub Crater, Mexico. The impact of the Chicxulub asteroid in Yucatan 66 million years ago is linked to the formation of cenotes. The collision created a massive crater that fractured the Earth's crust around the impact area. Over millions of years, rainwater and underground currents began seeping in, forming caves and tunnels beneath the surface. Gradually, the roofs of some caves collapsed, resulting in the creation of cenotes. The Chicxulub crater isn't visible directly because it's covered by soil and vegetation. But there's an indirect way to locate it. We have searched dozens of these natural wells across the Yucatan Peninsula, and these are the findings. A circular pattern corresponding to the crater's edge can be detected, with some cenotes to the west and others to the east, marking where the impact likely occurred. Cuckoo bird. Cuckoos display parasitic behavior, laying their eggs in the nests of other species instead of raising their own chicks. Their eggs hatch faster than those of the host species, allowing the chick to emerge first. Once hatched, the cuckoo chick begins to push out the other eggs of young birds to monopolize the food supply. The unsuspecting host parents care for the cuckoo as if it were their own. Cuckoo chicks typically grow quickly and surpass the host species in size, requiring more food and forcing the parents to work tirelessly. Hemeroplanes Tryptolemus. The phenomenon known as Batesian mimicry allows this caterpillar species to deceive predators by mimicking a snake. When threatened, it adopts a defensive posture, inflating the front part of its body to resemble a snake's head. It reveals structures that look like large, intimidating eyes. Additionally, it can perform movements to mimic a snake ready to strike. Tree-climbing goats. Morocco. This occurs in the country's southwestern region, in the semi-arid areas, where the argan tree grows. Here, the ground has sparse vegetation, so the goats search for food in the trees. The argan tree, native to this area, produces fruits that are especially appealing to the goats, particularly during dry months. Over generations, they have perfected this skill, using their hooves to balance on the branches of trees. Danakil Desert, Ethiopia. Under intense heat and constant geothermal activity, an environment of true extremes unfolds. One of the most inhospitable places on Earth, with temperatures soaring above 50 degrees Celsius. Underground waters heat up in the Dalol volcano crater, interacting with the rock minerals and producing striking colors. The yellow hues come from sulfur deposits. Reds and oranges arise from iron oxides. White shades result from salt buildup, and greens are due to sulfur mixing with geothermal water. The area also features acid pools and hot springs, containing a toxic blend of sulfuric acid and other chemical compounds. Erta El, Ethiopia. Known as the Smoking Mountain, or the Gateway to Hell, for its permanent lava lake, one of the few in the world. This volcano has been continuously active since its last major eruption in 1967. It is part of the Afar Rift, where the African plate is slowly splitting from the Arabian plate, resulting in notable magmatic activity. As magma rises and erupts through the crater, it accumulates in certain areas, forming small cones within the main crater. Submarine canyons, Turkey. Beneath the Mediterranean Sea, off the coast of Turkey, lie underwater valleys and mountains. It's a tectonically active area where the Eurasian, Anatolian, and African plates converge. These crustal movements cause fractures that contribute to the formation of mass submarine canyons. They reveal natural walls, resembling underwater constructions. Bentonite Hills, United States. Bentonite, a clay derived from volcanic ash, is responsible for these multicolored layers. These hills appear in arid regions, where sparse vegetation exposes the colorful strata. Bentonite's ability to retain water and expand with moisture creates a rippling surface on the hills. Iron produces red and yellow hues. Manganese creates purples, and copper oxide gives greens. Volcanic cones. Spain. These formations are the result of volcanic eruptions that impacted the island of Lanzarote in the 18th and 19th centuries. The eruptions were so intense that they completely transformed the landscape, covering the island with lava and volcanic ash. The cones are natural structures formed by the accumulation of materials expelled during volcanic eruptions. Interestingly, in some areas of the island, they are used to protect grapevines from the winds, helping retain moisture in the very dry soil. Quaris, Iceland. At the base of the Krafla volcano, this geothermal area is influenced by a magma chamber below. The environment feels surreal, with vast plains of red and orange earth, alongside mud pots and white smoke. The soil's varied colors are due to high mineral concentrations. The area is filled with fumaroles that release steam and gases at high temperatures. Mud pots form as water vapor rises through clay and earth deposits. Bait ball. This occurs when large groups of fish organize into spheres or cylinders. It's a defense mechanism that small fish adopt when they sense predators nearby. The individuals synchronize with one another, constantly adjusting their speed and direction. When predators arrive, they move erratically or change direction to make the attack more difficult. What was once a large group shifts into individuals fighting for survival. Eventually, it will disperse completely. The remaining fish try to escape, as maintaining the defensive group is no longer viable. Algar do Carvalho, Portugal. This stunning volcanic cavity is located on Terceira Island, in the Azores archipelago. It's a volcanic channel formed about 3,000 years ago, after an eruption. It was created due to unusual phenomenon, where lava flowed down the volcano's walls without collapsing its inner structure. This left an empty space inside, later sculpted by water and other elements over millennia. Lena Pillars, Russia. A series of rock formations stretching along the Lena River in eastern Siberia. They have been naturally sculpted over millions of years, taking the shapes of columns, towers, and sharp peaks. The harsh Siberian climate, with long cold winters, has accelerated erosion in some areas, while slowing it down in others. These formations are like a natural archive, as the rocks contain marine fossils and other remains, dating back to the ancient Cambrian era. Waterspout. These are spinning columns of air and water extending from the water's surface up to a high-altitude cloud. They resemble tornadoes, but occur over bodies of water. They form in high humidity conditions when the atmosphere is unstable. A storm cloud called a cumulonimbus creates an air vortex due to shifts in temperature and humidity. The air column extends downward, connecting with the water surface. Waterspouts often occur in the Atlantic Ocean and seas like the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. They rarely cause severe damage, but pose a threat to small boats. Dahab, Blue Hole, Egypt. Hidden in the northern part of the Red Sea, within the Gulf of Aqaba, lies one of the ocean's natural treasures. The walls of this underwater sinkhole are covered in coral. It was formed after the collapse of a cavern, leaving a large hole in the sea. This spot attracts divers seeking extreme challenges. An underwater passage connects it directly to the open sea. Despite its mesmerizing appearance, it harbors danger. Several divers have lost their lives attempting to pass through it. Legend has it that the Lady of the Blue Hole is a specter that lures divers to a tragic end. Boiling Lake, Dominica. In constant boiling, it's one of the largest hot spring lakes on the planet. Formed by an opening in the Earth's crust, it fills with rainwater and water filtering in from nearby hot springs. The surface roils endlessly from the intense heat of volcanic gases rising from the depths. Sandstorms. They often appear as massive walls of dust, swiftly advancing over the terrain. Strong winds carry large amounts of sand and dust particles. These conditions frequently arise in deserts and semi-arid regions. The density of the front increases as more particles are lifted from the ground along its path. Their height can drastically reduce visibility, sometimes rendering it nearly zero. Tepuy, Venezuela. Imposing flat-topped mesas in the Venezuelan Gran Sabana. With an estimated age of at least 2 billion years, they are among the oldest geological structures. The cliffs reach great heights, making many of their summits inaccessible. On their surfaces, diverse microclimates coexist, from rainforests at the base to high mountain environments at the top. Lenticular clouds. Unusual, lens or saucer-shaped clouds that form over mountains. They occur under atmospheric conditions where moist air moves over mountainous terrain and is forced to rise quickly. If the rising layer of air contains enough moisture, condensation occurs, forming clouds. They are common near mountain ranges like the Alps in Europe, the Sierra Nevada in California, the Andes in South America, and the Japanese Alps. Luray Caverns, United States. Discovered in 1878, these are the largest caverns in the eastern United States. They feature a remarkable variety of stalactites and stalagmites. Over millennia, some have fused together, creating columns. The great stalacpipe organ stands out, producing musical notes when certain stalactites are struck. The caves also contain crystal-clear pools that reflect the limestone walls and ceilings. Dedvle, Namibia. This is a white clay pan surrounded by massive sand dunes in the Namib Desert. Water once pooled here and, with no outlet, eventually evaporated, leaving a dry, clay surface. Around 9 centuries old, these dead trees have decomposed due to the dry environment that prevents decay. Some of the world's highest dunes surround Dedvle, with a deep red color due to the iron in the sand. Namib Desert Coast, Namibia. This desert is one of the few places in the world where sand dunes meet the ocean directly. This interaction creates a striking landscape, with no gradual transition between the flat terrain and the shore. Winds from the continent carry sand formed over millennia from the ancient rocks. When reaching the coast, the dunes drop abruptly into the ocean. Like sandy cliffs, the sea acts as a barrier, stopping the desert from advancing further. Rainbow Mountains, China. Forged over millennia, the terrain of Zhongyan Danxia National Geopark is truly one of a kind. Tectonic movements, particularly the collision between the Eurasian and Indian plates, uplifted the region, shaping it into mountain and hills. These colors emerge from a mix of iron oxides and other minerals in the rocks. Rain, wind, and harsh weather continued to sculpt the landscape, highlighting the wavy forms and valleys. Devil's Tower, United States. The astonishing monolith is made up of hexagonal rock columns. It's believed to have formed from a large volume of lava that didn't erupt and solidified underground. Over time, natural processes eroded the upper layers of the surrounding terrain, with its vertical walls, flat top, and nothing like it nearby. It stands out across a wide surrounding area. Shiprock, United States. Rising from the desert plain in the northwest of the Navajo Nation, this natural formation stands like a beacon. What we see today are the remnants of a volcano that formed hundreds of thousands of years ago. Its Navajo name is Sebitai, which translates to the rock with wings. Rock barriers extend in various directions from its central neck. These are marks left by lava roots that once spread across the land. Wakari Island, New Zealand. This active volcano is the peak of a vast underwater volcanic structure that juts above the sea. The landscape is desolate, almost lunar, with smoking craters and volcanic ash covering the ground. The volcano constantly releases gases, steam, and small eruptions, although large, hazardous ones can also occur. Minerals in the water and gases from fumaroles create striking colors, from the greens of acidic lakes to the yellows of sulfur. Rotorua, New Zealand. Nicknamed the Sulphur City due to the strong smell in the air from the numerous fumaroles and geothermal springs. The Pohatu Geyser is the largest in the southern hemisphere, reaching heights of up to 30 meters, or 98 feet. The area also features bubbling mud pools, created where geothermal heat combines soil and water. At Waiatapu, near Rotorua, there is a hot spring with bright colors and an orange edge caused by minerals like arsenic and antimony. Waimangu, New Zealand. Close to Rotorua, on New Zealand's North Island, lies the youngest geothermal area on the planet. The valley was formed after the devastating eruption of Mount Tarawera in 1886, which created a series of craters. Waimangu was once home to the world's largest geyser, which became inactive in 1904 after landslides. The valley is marked by thermal lakes, constantly heated by the Earth's inner warmth. This heat causes the water to reach high temperatures, turning it into steam that rises to the surface. White Volcano, Indonesia. This crater is filled with acidic water after a powerful eruption in the 10th century, forming a turquoise lake. High sulfur concentrations give the area a strong sulfuric smell, reminiscent of rotten eggs. The mist, air thick with sulfur fumes, and dead trees create a gloomy atmosphere. The smell, volcanic activity, and bird deaths led locals to believe the area is haunted. Mud volcanoes, Azerbaijan. A captivating geological phenomenon near the Caspian Sea, home to the largest concentration of mud volcanoes on Earth. These volcanoes don't release hot magma, but instead expel cold mud and gases. Natural gas accumulates underground and, under high pressure, escapes through surface cracks. As the gas rises, it brings up groundwater mixed with clay, creating mud. Locust plague. Moving in massive swarms, locusts devour vast agricultural areas. There are so many that they darken the sky during an invasion. Under normal conditions, locusts live solitary lives, but under certain circumstances, millions gather together. Plagues usually occur after periods of heavy rain that stimulate rapid vegetation growth and the hatching of millions of eggs. As locusts multiply and consume everything in their path, their numbers increase exponentially. Giant's Causeway, Northern Ireland. It consists of about 40,000 volcanic columns, formed 60 million years ago. When lava cooled after contact with water, it contracted and cracked, creating geometric columns. Most are hexagonal, though some have 4, 5, 7, and 8 sides. Some of the pillars are so tall they form cliffs. In other areas, the causeway extends into the sea, like an ancient cobblestone path. Sahara Lagoons, Algeria. In southeastern Algeria, despite the arid environment, these bodies of water form due to the presence of underground water. These subterranean reservoirs were established millennia ago, when the Sahara had rivers and lakes. In certain areas, like oases, groundwater rises to the surface, giving rise to these lagoons. Kali Craters, Estonia. This site consists of craters formed by a meteorite impact on the island of Saaremaa. It occurred during the Nordic Bronze Age, with energy released comparable to that of an atomic bomb, which likely impacted local inhabitants. Remains of stone walls have been found, suggesting the crater was used in religious rituals. Iron-forged arrowheads, possibly crafted from meteorite material, have also been discovered. Vatnajökull, Iceland. As this glacier melts in summer, rivers and meltwater streams emerge. It's a unique fluvial phenomenon characterized by its intricate network of channels. It resembles a web of veins across the landscape, where water carries particles from the glaciers. The constantly shifting water flow reshapes the plain, with channels that split and reconnect in a dynamic pattern. Shades of blue, turquoise, and green result from the glacial particles reflecting sunlight. Akhmatsk Cave, Kazakhstan. This deep cave, with its serene and luminous atmosphere, lives up to its name. Around the entrance and partially inside, trees and shrubs have grown, something uncommon in most caves. Local legends speak of its spiritual power and how it serves as a place of peace and meditation. Halocline. This occurs when two bodies of water with different salinity levels, one freshwater and one saltwater, meet in the same place. The difference in density creates a visible barrier, appearing as a curtain or a blurred line on the water's surface. In the waters surrounding Mauritius, the halocline forms when ocean currents meet freshwater discharges. In the cenotes of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, it's a common phenomenon due to the mix of freshwater from underground rivers and seawater. Crossing the halocline distorts visibility, causing water to ripple due to the density differences, which alters light direction. Speleothems. These are natural formations created in caves over thousands of years by the slow accumulation of minerals. The complexity of conditions needed for their development makes bell-shaped speleothems exceptionally rare. They form when minerals settle out from the water, in areas with low current flow. Wave Rock, Australia. Like the desert frozen in time, a colossal rock wave seems poised to crash. Its curved, striped surface, with shades of red, brown, and black, give the impression of being suspended in motion. Minerals like iron oxide were carried by water over centuries, giving it its colors. According to Aboriginal mythology, the wave shape was created by the rainbow serpent, a mythical figure that shaped the earth. Wolf Creek Crater, Australia. Considered one of the best preserved craters in the world, it was formed by the impact of an iron meteorite, weighing about 50,000 tons. The collision caused an explosion that shattered much of the meteorite, launching massive amounts of rock and dust into the atmosphere. Though around 120,000 years old, it was discovered relatively late, in 1947, by geologists flying over the region. Firefall, United States. When the sun illuminates Horsetail Fall in Yosemite National Park, a visual phenomenon occurs that makes the water appear as if it's on fire. It happens when the sunset light aligns with the waterfall, casting red and orange hues. For this to occur, the sun must set at a precise angle, which only happens in the last weeks of February. Pink Beach, Indonesia. Located within Komodo National Park, its pink color is due to a mix of sand and fragments of red coral. The conditions for its existence are rare. A high abundance of coral, called Forum inifera, ocean currents, and fine sand. Kaindy Lake, Kazakhstan. Surrounded by the Tian Shan Mountains, this clear water lake hosts a submerged forest. The pine trunks resemble the masts of ghostly ships. They have stood upright since the lake formed after a 1911 earthquake triggered a landslide, creating a natural dam. The trees remain visible beneath the water, preserved for over a century. Underwater volcanoes, Indonesia. Submerged beneath the sea, these volcanic formations rest on the ocean floor. Near Hue Island, the Indo-Australian plate subducts under the Eurasian plate, generating high volcanic activity. Magma rises from the mantle into the Earth's crust, accumulating in magma chambers below the ocean bed. When the magma reaches the ocean floor, trapped gas bubbles are released into the water. During underwater eruptions, these bubbles create gas columns that rapidly rise to the surface. Preikestolen, Norway. High above the fjord, this cliff features a remarkably flat summit. It formed around 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, as glaciers receded. Cracks are visible at the top, some of which are gradually widening. According to geologists, a section of the cliff might eventually fall into the fjord in thousands of years. The Wave, United States. In Arizona's arid landscape, this sandstone valley displays rock layers sculpted by wind and water. The grooves resemble ocean waves frozen in place, with a mix of red, orange, and pink hues. It formed around 190 million years ago, during the Jurassic period, when the area was covered in vast sand dunes. Over time, the dunes compacted, revealing the undulations and mineral layers seen today. Wall of Tears, United States. Within the Blue Hole in Kauai, Hawaii, lies this natural corner, enclosed by towering cliffs. A series of waterfalls flows down like a curtain, creating the illusion of a wall in tears. It's one of the most humid spots on the planet, receiving rain almost daily. Moon Viewpoint, Angola. Located on Angola's southwestern coast, This area resembles the lunar surface, hence its name. The landscape was shaped by wind and rain, eroding the clay soil. Over time, unusual ravines formed, displaying vibrant layers of earth and stone. Chapada Diamantina, Brazil. Dating back to the era of Pangaea, this land formation features mountains with unique shapes. Millions of years ago, it was a seabed where sand, silt, and other materials settled, later compacting into rock. Tectonic shifts pushed these layers upward, forming today's plateaus, mountains, and canyons. The mountains have flat tops because they're made of tough rock layers like quartzite, which resist erosion from water. Bromo Tengger Semeru Desert, Indonesia. Amidst desolation, an enormous volcanic caldera dominates the landscape. A vast sea of ash and volcanic sand spreads across the base of the Bromo, Semeru, Batok, and Widowmarin volcanoes. Winds and the lack of vegetation have preserved this barren surface, creating a nearly lifeless environment. The scene is heightened by Mount Bromo, continuously emitting smoke and ash. Great Blue Hole, Belize. Near Belize's coast, the Caribbean Sea holds a mysterious circular marine sinkhole. It formed around 15,000 years ago, when sea levels were lower, and this cave lay on dry land. As sea levels rose, the cave flooded, and its roof collapsed, creating the current chasm. The deep blue color results from the great depth and clear water, contrasting with the shallow reef waters nearby. Marble Chapels, Argentina, and Chile. A collection of natural rock sculptures located in Lake General Carrera, south of Chile, known as Lake Buenos Aires in Argentina. These formations began forming 6,000 years ago, as calcium carbonate solidified into massive marble blocks over millennia. Waves and currents have slowly shaped the marble, carving caves, arches, and undulating columns. This transformation continues, and over time it will gradually reshape these majestic cathedrals. Enchanted City of Cuenca, Spain. Colossal rocks display strange contours, resembling animals, objects, or human figures. Over millions of years, the landscape has transformed into a rocky labyrinth. Layers of rock were created from accumulated shells and marine skeletons of an ancient sea, while wind and water sculpted their shapes. Tinto River, Spain. An exceptional river flows through southwestern Spain, in the region of Andalusia. Its red color and acidic waters are due to heavy metals and dissolved minerals like iron and copper. The unusual chemistry here has even drawn NASA's interest as an earthly analog for life on Mars. This acidic environment creates an extreme ecosystem, inhospitable to most forms of life. Yet, it is home to extremophile microorganisms, able to survive in toxic, oxygen-free conditions. Pamukkale Pools, Turkey. White terraces were slowly built up by minerals from the hot spring waters. Heated waters rise from the ground, rich in calcium bicarbonate, flowing down the slope to form soft, white rock. Each level creates steps and semicircular pools. Legend has it that Egyptian Queen Cleopatra visited Pamukkale, drawn by the site's reputed rejuvenating properties. Grand Prismatic Spring, United States. One of the largest hot springs in the world, located in Yellowstone National Park. Its origin lies in Yellowstone's powerful geothermal activity, a supervolcano with an active caldera. Hot water, minerals, and microorganisms combine to create these vibrant colors. The visible layers are bacterial communities that draw energy from sunlight, organic matter, and chemical compounds in the water. Diamond Head, United States. born from an explosive eruption millennia ago. It has shaped Honolulu's skyline for generations. British explorers mistook calcite on the slope for diamonds, giving rise to its name. A trail along the crater's edge leads to the summit. Upon reaching it, breathtaking views of the Pacific, Honolulu, and Waikiki unfold. Channeled Scabland, United States. Forged by ancient glacial floods, this natural formation dates back thousands of years. Powerful water currents reshaped the landscape in mere days, creating canyons and enormous rock whirlpools. The estimated water volume was 10 times the combined flow of all the world's rivers. In the area lies Dry Falls, a former waterfall believed to have been much larger than today's Niagara Falls. Mount Rinjani, Indonesia. On the island of Lombok stretches an extraordinary landscape, featuring a volcanic caldera, Segara Anak Lake, and the Barujari volcano. The surrounding cliffs are remnants of the ancient volcano, which partially collapsed. At the center is the active Barujari Cone, formed by eruptions after the main volcano's collapse. Active volcanoes sometimes generate multiple vents, where magma and gases are released. Inside the caldera sits Segara Anak Lake, named Child of the Sea for its deep blue color. At the northern base of Mount Rinjani, the Tiu Kelep waterfall cascades down. According to Lombok's ethnic mythology, the waterfalls and volcano are homes of spirits and sacred places deserving respect. Lava tunnels, New Zealand. These are channels formed when the top of a lava flow solidifies while molten lava continues to move below. Centuries ago, a volcanic eruption, Ongrangitoto, created several of these tunnels. Once the lava stops flowing and the tube's interior empties, a hollow tunnel is left behind. They can remain intact for centuries, protected by solid rock from weathering. Lake Baikal Bubbles, Russia. These bubbles form when methane gets trapped in layers of ice during the winter season. Anaerobic bacteria break down organic remains, releasing methane as a byproduct. As methane is produced at the lake's bottom, it rises as bubbles and becomes trapped when the water freezes. Kalaupapa Cliffs, United States. These are the tallest sea cliffs in the world, located on the island of Molokai in Hawaii. They rise abruptly from the ocean, like an imposing natural wall. Formed from accumulated lava and massive landslides, they tower over the coastline. Due to their height and dense vegetation, they are largely inaccessible. Waterfalls along the cliffs come from temporary streams that appear after the island's frequent rains. Reykjadalur Hot Springs, Iceland. This area has been dubbed the world's hot spring capital. The landscape is misty, with hot springs, mud pools, and steam vents. A warm river flows through the valley, creating natural pools. The vigorous geothermal activity gives the area a strong sulfur scent, typical in volcanic regions. Pinnacles Desert, Australia. Thousands of rock sculptures called pinnacles rise above the yellow sand, ranging from small mounds to tall columns. They are thought to have formed from compacted marine shells and other materials when the area was once underwater. The shapes of the pinnacles vary. Some are thin and sharp, while others are wide and sturdy. Emerald Lake, China. This is a saline lake with a vibrant emerald color, bordered by an arid landscape. It consists of green, blue, and white pools that stretch like mirrors across a salt-crusted surface. The lake formed due to high evaporation in the Kaidam Basin and the buildup of minerals. Crevasses, Argentina. In summer, Rising temperatures speed up ice melt in the Patagonian glaciers. Stress causes cracks, forming these deep grooves that fill with meltwater. These rivers usually flow into glacial lakes or local fjords. The water's clarity is due to the purity of meltwater from glacier ice, compacted over centuries, or even millennia. Cloud waterfall. This atmospheric visual effect makes clouds appear to flow like a waterfall over mountain edges. It occurs when warm, humid air is forced up a mountain or cliff, cooling as it rises. After reaching the peak, it begins to descend down the opposite side. Snow monsters, Japan. Mainly found on Mount Zao, these are trees covered in a thick layer of snow and ice. They are said to resemble monsters or fantastic creatures. This phenomenon occurs when cold winter winds freeze the tree branches, forming unusual shapes. A sea of white figures stretches down the mountain slopes. Stone Forest of Shilin, China. This landscape resembles a petrified forest, with tree-like stone formations. Around 270 million years ago, this area was submerged in an ancient sea, accumulating corals, shells, and other marine life. Erosion sculpted the stone into towers, pillars, and peaks, creating a complex rock maze. The resemblance to trees, animals, or human figures has inspired various names and legends for each formation. Salto del Agrio, Argentina. A waterfall surrounded by volcanic rocks with a distinctive red hue. The river carries compounds that tint its waters turquoise, while the rocks are formed from volcanic materials. The waterfall and surrounding area are products of the Copahu volcano's activities, which releases sulfur and other minerals. The Narrows, United States. This is a narrow section of Zion Canyon, located at the northern end of Zion National Park. The Virgin River carved this tight passage through sandstone, creating towering walls on either side. In some places, the walls are just a few feet apart. Depending on the season, water levels vary, making the hike require wading or crossing deep areas. Angel's Landing, United States. This renowned trail leads hikers to the top of a high, narrow rock ridge. In 1916, an explorer remarked that only an angel could land on such a prominent ledge. At the final edge, hikers walk along a narrow path, with breathtaking views on both sides. This section requires extreme caution, especially in windy or adverse weather conditions. Hydrovolcanic explosions, United States. Eruptions at Kilauea often produce fluid lava that rapidly flows toward the ocean. Upon reaching the coast, lava cascades directly into the sea. When it contacts the water, the lava cools instantly, triggering explosive reactions. This process forms new land, though it remains unstable and often collapses. Tidal bore. This unique natural phenomenon occurs in certain rivers and estuaries around the world. It requires a funnel-shaped formation and shallow waters, which amplify the tide's effect. A massive wave moves upriver against the current, creating turbulence. It happens during the full or new moon, when the gravitational pull of the moon and sun align. Barrel sponge spawning, United States. In the coral reefs of the Florida Keys, rare and spectacular events unfold. During spawning, the barrel sponge releases gametes into the water, forming a whitish cloud. This usually occurs at night, making it challenging to witness. Torish Valley, Kazakhstan. Hundreds of rock spheres of various sizes are scattered across this valley. They display nearly perfect rounded shapes, resembling large marbles spread across the ground. They formed when marine minerals hardened around a stone core. Split Apple Rock, New Zealand. This rock resembles a split apple, as if it had been precisely cut in half. It occurs when water seeps into cracks, freezes, expands, and causes the rock to fracture. Simpson Desert, Australia. With its seemingly endless red sand dunes, this remote desert is a place of infinite solitude. Between the dunes lie vast flat areas called swales, serving as natural pathways. The high concentration of iron oxide gives the sand grains their striking color. Despite its desolate appearance, it supports a wide variety of life, including species like the red kangaroo and thorny devil. Lake Toba, Indonesia. The largest volcanic lake in the world, formed by the biggest eruption in the past 25 million years. This cataclysmic event spewed a massive amount of ash and rock into the atmosphere, causing the volcano to collapse and creating a giant caldera. The global effects were immediate, triggering a volcanic winter that nearly led to human extinction. In the center of the lake rises Samosir Island, a landmass similar in size to Singapore, formed from the slow accumulation of magma. Pobiti Kamani, Bulgaria. Comprised of stone columns that rise from the ground like fossilized trees. They emerged 50 million years ago in a shallow sea, where marine debris gathered around gas bubbles. Gradually, the sea receded, leaving the stone columns exposed. Ant colony, Sweden. Beneath the canopy of coniferous forests, Formica rufa, ants construct these mounds. They build them using pine needles, leaves, branches, and other materials collected from the forest. These mounds are crucial for regulating internal temperature, protecting the colony from winter's cold and summer's heat. Inside, the ants have created an underground network of tunnels and chambers, where they store food and raise their larvae. Alpine ibex, Switzerland. As challenging as it may seem, animals reach the peaks of these mountains. Ibexes have an incredible skill for navigating steep terrains. Evolution has equipped them with hooves, designed anatomically to provide traction and stability on rocky, snowy, or icy surfaces. They choose these high places to stay safe from natural predators, like wolves and golden eagles. Kærid Crater, Iceland. A lake rests at the bottom of this volcanic crater, with walls stained in rusty reds and browns. At 6,500 years old, it is young compared to other geological formations in the country. It is believed to have been a volcano that collapsed after erupting. Unlike other craters filled by rainwater, Kærid's Lake is thought to be fed by groundwater. Corvo Caldera, Portugal. The island of Corvo, the smallest in the Azores archipelago, holds a majestic volcanic caldera. It formed around 400,000 years ago, after an explosive eruption collapsed the original volcano, creating a large crater. Surrounded by steep cliffs covered in vegetation, it contains lagoons and tiny islands within. Weaver bird nests. The village weaver, Ploceus cucullatus, a species native to Africa, builds intricate sack-like nests hanging from tree branches. The males take on the task of weaving them, displaying remarkable skill in creating an inner compartment where the female lays her eggs. They often build in large groups, forming colonies of dozens or even hundreds of nests on a single tree. Sociable weavers. Philochaerus socius, found in Africa's arid regions, construct massive communal nests. These nests hold up to 100 individual chambers, where multiple bird families live together. The bioweaver's nests, Ploceus philippinus, common in India and Southeast Asia, are among the most intricate and detailed in the animal kingdom. They resemble bells or bottles, hanging from slender branches, typically in trees near water. Dasht Talut, Iran. Few places on Earth experience extreme temperatures like the 70 degrees Celsius recorded in this desert. It features wind-sculpted geological formations and vast salt flats. Yardangs, elongated stone masses, shape a surreal landscape. Dasht Talut is also home to enormous dunes, formed by powerful winds capable of moving vast amounts of sand. Fall streak hole. Some clouds contain water droplets so cold they should freeze, but don't. When something like an airplane passing through disturbs these supercooled droplets, they rapidly freeze, forming ice crystals. The crystals fall, pulling droplets with them, clearing an area and creating a hole in the ground. Oradla Cave, Hungary. Near the border with Slovakia lies one of Europe's largest caves. Archaeological findings show it served as a shelter for humans since the Stone Age. It formed millions of years ago as water carved through the rock, creating stalactites and stalagmites. Some of the stalactites are massive. The dark, stable environment and its large size make it an ideal space for bats to roost and breed. Fairy Chimney, Turkey. Cappadocia hides natural wonders resembling towers straight out of fairy tales. They are made up of a soft rock base with a harder capstone that acts as a protective hat, preventing complete erosion. This combination creates the appearance of enchanted chimneys. Ancient civilizations used these formations as homes, churches, monasteries, and storage spaces, taking advantage of the soft, volcanic rock. Revillagigedo Archipelago, Mexico. Forged by underwater volcanoes, these islands emerged millions of years ago. Located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, an area of high seismic and volcanic activity. Underwater volcanoes erupted, lava solidified and accumulated until it rose above sea level. The impressive underwater cliffs belong to an ancient volcano shaped by lava and tectonic forces. Over time, they have been altered by ocean currents, waves, and marine organisms. Walker Canyon, United States. With the arrival of the super bloom, California poppies blanket these mountains in color. These are rare events that don't happen every year. Abundant rainfall is needed for the dormant seeds of poppies and other wildflowers to sprout in large numbers. Jeju Island Craters, South Korea. Amid craters and ash cones, the so-called Oriums stand out across this expansive volcanic terrain. Around 2 million years ago, the island formed from eruptions where magma mixed with seawater, triggering explosions. These blasts created hundreds of volcanic cones, scattered across the island. Perseids. Each year between July and August, the northern hemisphere's sky lights up with a captivating meteor shower. At its peak, it reaches 50 to 100 meteors per hour under dark and clear skies. These are dust particles from the comet 109P Swift-Tuttle, discovered in 1862, which orbits the Sun every 133 years. Each year, Earth passes through this debris stream, which, despite creating a grand show, consists of particles no larger than a grain of sand. Saltstraumen, Norway. The water of the Saltstraumen Strait creates a colossal marine whirlpool. The large water level difference between the Skjerstad Fjord and the Norwegian Sea generates powerful tidal currents. This phenomenon is cyclical, repeating every 6 hours with the ebb and flow of the water. The currents are extremely fast and powerful, making them potentially dangerous for navigation. Svartifoss, Iceland. Known as the Black Waterfall due to the dark volcanic rock columns surrounding it. Symmetrically aligned, they resemble giant organ pipes. These formations resulted from ancient volcanic eruptions and the rapid cooling of lava, a process that has shaped much of the country. Eye of the Earth, Croatia. Surrounded by cliffs, it resembles a human eye when viewed from above. This lake connects to the ocean through underground channels and cracks, allowing the movement of saltwater in and out. The The central area is deeper than the edges, causing the water to appear darker in color. Kodachrome Basin State Park, United States. Nowhere else in the world are there stone tubes like those found in this reserve. Dozens of these natural formations are scattered throughout the park. They are remnants of ancient hot spring systems that have once flowed underground. Channels where steam or hot water circulated became filled with sand and minerals, eventually hardening into solid rock. Seven Sisters Cliffs, United Kingdom. These towering white cliffs grace the southern coast of England. The chalk that forms them dates back 90 million years to the Cretaceous period, originating from marine plankton remains. They stand over the English Channel, with their dazzling white color visible from the sea. During World War II, they became a symbol of hope, the first sight for British soldiers returning from continental Europe. Thor's Well, United States. On Cape Perpetua, Oregon, a natural sinkhole gives the illusion of swallowing the ocean. It's believed to have been a sea cave whose roof collapsed. At high tide, water surges upward from the well. It's a stunning spot, but can be dangerous due to unpredictable waves. Ijen Volcano, Indonesia. Its flames are a natural phenomenon unique to Earth. They arise from the combustion of sulfuric gases that ignite upon contact with the air. They are best seen at night when darkness enhances the brilliant color of the flames. Beside them lies a turquoise lake, the largest acidic lake in the world, with a pH close to 0 due to its high sulfuric acid concentration. Rainbow eucalyptus. Known for its multicolored trunk, which looks as though nature itself painted it. This tree, native to the Philippines, Indonesia and Papua New Guinea is the only eucalyptus species that grows naturally in the northern hemisphere. The continuous peeling of its bark gives rise to the multicolored trunk. As the outer layer sheds, a fresh green layer with chlorophyll appears, changing color when exposed to air and sunlight. Glory. It is especially visible from an airplane or in mountainous areas. When sunlight hits a cloud or mist filled with tiny water droplets, the light bends around these drops. Some of the light that enters the droplets reflects internally and exits, scattering into various colors. Shark Fault, France. Beneath the waters near Poi Beach, in New Caledonia, lies this underwater geological formation. It consists of a wide fissure on the ocean floor. The interaction of tectonic plates in this area creates stresses in the Earth's crust, fracturing blocks of land beneath the sea. Tambora Volcano, Indonesia. Access to this volcano, though possible, is challenging due to its remote location and rugged terrain. Its 1850 eruption is considered one of the largest in recorded history, with devastating consequences both locally and globally. It causes the year without a summer. In 1816, with frosts in the height of summer across Europe and North America, leading to crop failures, famine, and unrest. Meteor Crater, United States. Located in the northern Arizona desert, it is regarded as one of the best preserved impact craters worldwide. "50,000 years ago, an iron-nickel meteorite crashed here at high speed, releasing energy equivalent to a modern nuclear bomb. Upon impact, most of the meteorite vaporized, leaving only small fragments. Thanks to the arid environment, it has remained much better preserved than other meteorite craters on Earth. Flowering Desert, Chile. In the heart of the Atacama Desert, known for its extreme dryness, a surprising natural process unfolds. It occurs in years of intense rainfall, something rare in this area. But when rain comes, often associated with climate phenomena like El Niño, dormant seeds sprout. Then, hundreds of flower species bloom, painting the desert in vibrant colors. Great Migration, Tanzania and Kenya. This annual movement involves nearly 2 million wildebeests, accompanied by tens of thousands of zebras, gazelles, and antelopes. As the ground dries in April, the vast herds begin their migration northward and westward in search of fresh grazing areas. In June and July, they reached the Grumeti River in the western Serengeti, their first major hurdle. Here, Nile crocodiles lie in wait, ready to strike. The migration reaches one of its climactic moments at the crossing of the Mara River, on the border between Tanzania and Kenya. Thousands of animals risk their lives crossing the swift river, creating a dramatic spectacle. Hurricane I. On land, hurricanes are both dangerous and awe-inspiring. But seeing one from space elicits an even greater sense of wonder. Hurricanes form during warm seasons when ocean temperatures are high enough to supply the needed energy. This usually happens in the North Atlantic, Eastern Pacific, Western Pacific, and other tropical regions. As warm air rises, it creates a low-pressure zone at the ocean's surface, drawing in surrounding air and generating wind. At the center lies the hurricane's eye, an area of relative calm surrounded by severe storms. In the eye wall, winds reach their peak strength, and rainfall intensifies. Glufra-Bui, Iceland. Nicknamed the Hidden Waterfall, it is one of Iceland's lesser-known and visited sites. Its uniqueness lies in its partial concealment within a narrow canyon. To see it up close, one must pass through a narrow entrance between rocks and walk along a small stream. Meeting of the Waters, Brazil. Where the Rio Negro meets the Solimões River, a unique phenomenon occurs as their waters blend. The Rio Negro has dark waters due to the high concentration of decomposing organic matter, mainly from jungle leaves. The Solimões River, Cold and dense, carries light brown waters loaded with sediments it picks up from the Andes. Differences in temperature, density, speed, and composition prevent the waters from mixing immediately upon contact. Thus, the contrast between the two rivers is clearly visible. Whitehaven Beach, Australia. In the heart of the Great Barrier Reef, this beach stands out for its white sand, turquoise waters, and pristine environment. The sand, white and soft, is composed almost entirely of silica from ancient quartz-rich rocks. At the northern end of the beach, a remarkable natural display can be seen. As the tide rises and falls, water and sand create swirling patterns of blue, green, and white. Northern Lights. They illuminate the night sky with vibrant colors that shift in changing patterns. Appearing in polar regions at high altitudes above the Earth's surface. They occur when charged particles from the sun are propelled during solar storms and travel through space. Upon reaching Earth, they are guided toward the poles by the magnetic field, colliding with atoms in the atmosphere and releasing energy. At the peak of solar activity, the sun emits large amounts of energy and charged particles, such as coronal mass ejections and solar storms. If this energy reaches Earth, it heightens geomagnetic activity and extends aurora visibility beyond the poles. In Central European regions, auroras have reddish edges due to the interaction of solar particles with oxygen at higher altitudes. Frozen Minnehaha Falls, United States. It freezes completely during winter months, transforming into a wall of ice. Icicles and ice stalagmites form along the edges and near the main drop. This happens as layers of ice accumulate, formed by water continuing to flow behind the already frozen surface. Eldrein, Iceland. This is a vast lava field covered by a thick layer of moss. It was created by the Laki eruption in 1784, when lava spread across the land, blanketing valleys and fields. Over decades, the liquid lava hardened, leaving a rough and rugged surface. At first, the environment was lifeless, but over time, mosses and lichens began to colonize it. Rano Kau Crater, Chile. In the heart of Rapa Nui, an extinct volcano overlooks the Pacific Ocean. It formed around 2.5 million years ago through a series of volcanic eruptions that shaped much of Easter Island. It was the site of the Birdman Ceremony, a competition in which participants swam to Motu Nui to select a tern egg. Great Australian Bight. Australia's southern coast features this semicircular bay with steep cliffs. During the Cenozoic, around 50 million years ago, this region separated from Antarctica and gradually sank beneath the sea. This geological evolution has shaped the landscape with high, rugged cliffs. Bioluminescent beaches. When darkness falls, the water at these beaches comes alive, lit by tiny marine organisms. Dinoflagellates and other species, like certain jellyfish and bacteria, convert chemical energy into light. The resulting glow shifts colors, usually appearing blue or green due to the organism's chemistry. In addition to the water, it can also be seen on the wet sand of the beach. Crveno Jezero, Croatia. Its name refers to the red rock walls with high iron content that surround it. It is estimated to be around 500 meters, or 1,600 feet deep, making it one of the largest natural water pits in the world. It is believed to have underground connections with other bodies of water, such as Modro Jezero, through caves and subterranean rivers. Dean's Blue Hole, Bahamas. Reaching a depth of 202 meters, or 660 feet deep, it is the deepest known marine blue hole. During the last ice age, acidic groundwater created large caves and sinkholes. Like other blue holes, its water is clear due to the low presence of marine life in the deeper zones. Golden Rock, Myanmar. As if defying gravity, this enormous granite boulder sits on the edge of a cliff. Kiaiktio Pagoda, the small golden temple atop it, was built by human hands. According to legend, it balances on a hair of the Buddha, kept inside the pagoda Coco Crater, United States. Formed 30,000 years ago by an explosion following the creation of Oahu Island. A trail of over 1,000 steps from an old military tramway leads to the summit. The steep-walled crater has partially collapsed and is covered with vegetation adapted to the arid climate of Oahu's southeastern coast. Kizilkup, Kazakhstan. Deserts and unique geological formations define this remote natural region. Over ages, sand, clay, and marine remnants accumulated in layers, compacting and hardening. Iron creates red and brown hues, copper adds greens, and manganese produces blues and blacks. Langford Island Sandspit, Australia. A thin strip of white sand located in the Whitsunday Islands. It emerges at low tide, creating a temporary beach that stretches into the ocean. During high tide, much of the sand becomes submerged. Sekumpul Waterfall, Indonesia. Amid jungle-covered cliffs, numerous waterfalls cascade in a series of drops. The water comes from rivers and mountain springs in northern Bali, an area with high rainfall. Though considered one of the most beautiful waterfalls on the island, it is relatively undervisited due to its challenging access and isolation. Quilatoa Lake, Ecuador. Regarded as one of the few crater lakes in the world accessible to visitors. It formed 8 centuries ago after a major eruption of Quilatoa volcano, known for its intensity in the recent history of the Andes. Due to its high sulfur content, the water has a striking blue hue that contrasts with the crater's grayish walls. Mammatus Cloud. Its appearance resembles bags or pouches hanging downward. They occur in clouds associated with thunderstorms, tornadoes, and cold fronts. Unlike most clouds, which form as air rises and cools, Mammatus clouds form from descending air. Los Gemelos, Ecuador. They were formed by the collapse of underground lava chambers during periods of volcanic activity on Santa Cruz Island. They are surrounded by a dense forest of Scalesia, a type of vegetation unique to the Galapagos. Quebrada Cave, Venezuela. Its multiple levels and twisted passageways make it one of the most complex caves in South America. It is estimated to contain at least 4 kilometers, or 2.5 miles, of galleries, though parts remain unexplored due to its location in dense, hard-to-access jungle. It hosts a unique underground ecosystem with species adapted to darkness and humidity. Valley of the Moon, Argentina. It gets its name from its desert-like landscape, filled with unusual rock formations and vivid colors, reminiscent of the lunar surface. Dating back about 230 million years, during the Triassic period, it represents a key stage in dinosaur evolution. These stone spheres formed as dissolved minerals clustered around fossils, or small rocks. Over millions of years, they slowly grew, leaving only the most resilient components. Sardine Run, South Africa. Each year, South Africa's coastlines become the stage for a massive migration. Billions of sardines swim northward, drawing in a wide variety of marine predators. Large pods of dolphins lead the hunt, using cooperative tactics to corral the fish. Birds like gannets dive from above, plunging into the water to catch sardines swimming near the surface. Karlu Karlu, Australia. Known for its spherical shapes and the seemingly balanced state of its rocks. In the Warumungu language, Karlu Karlu translates to rock rounds. Natural cracks allowed the rocks to smooth their edges through the effects of water and wind. Wahab Crater, Saudi Arabia. A unique volcanic crater in the Harat Kishp Desert, featuring a saline lake at its center. It was formed by a volcanic explosion triggered by the interaction between hot magma and underground water. Stone Columns, United States. These mysterious stone columns were discovered at Crowley Lake. They originated from the fusion of snowmelt with volcanic ash. We've explored the impossible, yet much remains to be seen. Earth is still filled with mysteries that defy reality. See you next time.